So, I, Mark Stewart, am one of the rare presidential candidates who doesn't even want endorsements. A political endorsement is almost certainly some politician trying to ally, or some politician trying to get a headline, or some politician trying to do something political that'll earn a favor later on. Okay? I'm not into that. However, I am myself an endorser of good groups, good people, usually not political. And I do this to make sure that people know the groups that I hold out an affinity with. If you're considering voting for me, you know more of where I stand by the friends I keep. It's very reasonable, and know that they are not political friends. If it happens to be a politician, it's because of a politician doing something good outside of politics. Doing something good in business, doing something good for the community, doing something good for her or his family. That's the reason. So, I am allied now with the ADF, and it is the Alliance Defending Freedom. They are, of late, staunchly against the militant transgender movement. Let me let you know how this is bearing out. Transgenders are being used by leftists, okay? They are kind of natural allies, and the leftists see in trans people who aren't going to vote Republican and who carry many people's sympathy, I'm one of them, and then put a cause on them that is political in nature, and I'm not with their cause, because their cause is to get rid of standards. Their cause is to make us feel that there's really no differences between male and female and people transitioning from one to another. And it goes the next step, which would be that there's no differences with maybe there's a third or fourth or fifth sex. And maybe even there's really only fluidity between us humans and animals. You know, what's the difference? They are anti-West. They are anti-American. And here's a specific policy that the ADF and I are fervently against. It's to let female athletes compete, well, really to force them to compete against males. Boys who consider themselves more like girls, at least for the time being, and want to compete against girls, even though they are men. They are almost certainly faster, stronger. They don't have to work as hard to actually beat the girls. And so mediocre boys in my state of Connecticut are winning medals over the most excellently prepared girls in girls' meets. It is incredibly unfair. And it's a loss of standards that presume girls and boys are different. I say this even if a boy has the chemical changes imposed on him, he's losing some of his testosterone. I say this even if he has a SNP. He's still born male, and you can't change that. Surgery can't change that. I released a video back in 2018 when I first learned about an earlier set of boys in Cromwell and one other school that were winning the majority of medals and keeping girls from getting the rightful rewards. It keeps them out of school, scholarships from schools. Where are the feminists in that? This cockamamie policy that makes it unfairly hard for girls to get scholarships at colleges that they rightly deserve. Meanwhile, the boys who do deserve our compassion more so deserve our therapy, because right now something is not right. And instead, the administrators indulge, instead of trying to talk them about living with your impulses, living with the body that God gave you. Millions of people do. Millions of people at times are discontent. They don't attempt to change their sex, and they certainly don't attempt to change the world around them. For all who talk about removing glass ceilings, that's in the workplace, this imposition by government on athletes is worse. First off, the girls who are subject to boys running in their races, they can't go elsewhere. There's only one high school athletic conference that they can attend. Number two, it is the government doing it to them. It's not even a set of choices. That deserves our scorn, and for the maybe attempt to move people in the right direction, it deserves our recognition that almost certainly, even after chemical therapy, even after a snip, these people are almost certainly no happier. The suicide rate among transgendered people is incredibly high. It's been measured in America at the second highest in world history, the first being just slightly higher among Jews in concentration camps during World War II. They committed suicide at a higher rate. We are not helping these people. In the meantime, we are hurting education, athleticism, and standards. These administrators know better. They know it's ludicrous to have boys competing against same-age girls. It is as ludicrous as saying, well, the 20-year-old who is far more strong, fit, better trained than the 12-year-old, but the 20-year-old feels young, should then compete in 12 and under events. He will win all the medals. And he will cause the 12 and unders to just quit. Why? Why bother? That's the trend now for girls who just can't win all the medals when a different group of people, they are boys, whatever they want to call themselves, is competing against them. We need to stop this. These are mentally ill boys. Ill, but not permanently so. And with counseling, which would be best for them, they'll happily compete within boys and ultimately men's matches, maybe not do as well, but ultimately be prouder of themselves than scoring medals in categories that they don't deserve. I am so fervently for the ADF and for these girls and their families who are taking a stand. So congratulations. I won't name them, but from Danbury, Glastonbury, Cromwell, and most recently Canton. Thanks for taking a stand.